Welcome to the Pillow Fight Podcast. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Kay.
I'm Emma, and we are your three besties bringing you news, reviews, and all things horror.
That's right.
What's going on in horror right now?
I don't know. I need a fucking nap.
I know.
Sorry for my apologies for missing an episode. It's my boot.
That is the boot.
I broke my foot.
It was crazy. We were getting ready to do an episode, and we get this message from Kay as we're all getting ready to leave our house. And it's like, guys, maybe there's a problem. And then it's followed by a picture of a very mangled foot.
Yeah, we were expecting like, oh, Trader Joe's doesn't have the right pizza or something. And all of a sudden there's like this toe that's like this way. We're like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah. Immediate rush of like, I ain't making it. And said bye and went to urgent care, but I'm here now.
Well, you were definitely missed. We were a little rowdy without you.
I'm sure you really missed the Lord of Illusions, didn't you?
Terribly.
I'm
just more shocked that the rowdiness was stopped because of me, because I never thought that I would be the one that was keeping shit calm.
Hey, you know, we need someone to help us stop talking about dicks all the time, so.
I didn't know that. I didn't want to be that person.
I didn't know that would be us.
You're just your mother.
I've become my mother.
I love her, never mind, I just spaced out.
Okay.
So, bye.
To distract me from my never-ending pain, what's going on in horror right now?
So I feel like Bill Skarsgård's everywhere right now. We talked about him on the last episode too, but he just did an interview for Esquire where he talked about his character in Nosferatu, the new Robert Eggers movie. He's just a little treat, ain't he? Mm-hmm. But he had some really kind of interesting quotes here that I want to read you because I feel like we are about to get like the spicy Count Orlok, and I am here for it.
Spicy Orlok. Oh,
Hashtag spicy Orlok.
You know, I love me some sexy Pennywise.
We talked about that wandering eye, man.
He is. We talked about this last episode when you weren't here.
We had matching eyes, wandering eyes.
Apparently,
well, like,
I read that that's a trait. Being able to defocus your eyes is actually like an ADHD trait.
She can do it.
I can do it too.
Inward. Can you do it inward?
No, I do it outward.
Do it outward.
Wait. It's easier when I don't have contacts in because my contacts like correct it.
Wait.
There we go. Okay.
Wait.
I have to focus on something. But yeah, I can only do it.
Let's look at our cameras and just wander our eyes.
Thanks, viewers.
Yes.
I'm doing it. Wait.
Well, while you guys do that, I'm going to tell you more about Bill Skarsgård and his spicy Orlok role. He said, it was like conjuring pure evil. It took a while for me to shake off the demon that had been conjured inside me. Fuck, man.
Why are you making this sound so slow?
I want to hear
He
him.
said it!
Because he's sexy. He's so
But then
slutty.
he's got some more. He's got some more. He said, he's gross, but it is very sexualized. It's playing with a sexual fetish about the power of the monster and what that appeal has to you. Hopefully you'll get a little bit attracted by it and disgusted by your attraction at the same time.
That's the story of my life, Skarsgård.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's vampires. Vampires are inherently sexy.
Yeah, but I don't know if Nosferatu was ever really sexy.
I mean, now he might be.
I was like crazy Klaus Kinski.
Now he might be.
He was the...
Oh, I'm ready for this.
I'm so ready.
This Count Orlok glow up.
Okay. Well, speaking of like sexy horror, there was the wonderful time when if you were on a WB TV show, you were also in a horror movie.
Yes.
And someone who has aged like a fine whiskey, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen.
He is. He's lovely.
Jensen Ackles.
He is just...
Cheers to him.
Cheers.
Now is it Dean or Jensen? Both.
I mean, he's The Boys. He's killing everything he's doing right now. Like his career's been... He's a lifelong actor since he started in soaps.
Yeah. What's he doing now?
Boys.
He's on The Boys.
He's on The Boys.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who does he play on The Boys?
He's like
He's basically like a The Boys version of Captain America. It also included the girl from Silent Hill who played the cop, and she was on Walking Dead, and she's done amazing work for sex trafficking victims.
Lori.
I ran into her at Jump Cut one time, and she gave me good advice because I said I was on my way to an audition, and she just looked at me and she's like, "Don't give up, don't give up." And to this day, I think I won't, Lori Holden. That's
Lori Holden.
That's her. Yeah.
Yep.
I won't.
But no, he's doing great work on The Boys, and he's on some other show called like Tracker, I think. But yeah, he's continuously working. He's doing great, and he still does all this stuff with Supernatural. But one thing you might know him from for those 2K movies, which are my jam, is My Bloody Valentine, the remake in 3D. Whoosh. Yeah. Throw the pickaxe at the
Please
screen.
get an axe in the video.
I have an axe. I don't have a pickaxe. I have a fake.
Not a real one.
I have a prop faux axe. We should always bring our prop weapons.
Throw at the
just
camera.
for violence. But apparently we're getting a new one for this generation.
Wow.
So this will be the third My Bloody Valentine movie, and we don't know a lot about it, but Blumhouse is in charge, so it's in good hands.
Are you sure?
But so they're doing another remake. We don't know anything about like writer. We don't know anything about cast or director. Fingers crossed for Jensen making a resurgence. He is a big fan favorite, to be honest. Please. And it's been 15 years. Wow. But that movie's fun. So it really capitalized on like the whole 3D movie craze that was going on.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do 3D movies like Friday the 13th, like horror 3D movies are like the way to go.
Yeah, that one was a good one.
A good friend of mine wrote that movie, Todd Farmer, and
yeah.
he's the naked guy.
That's right.
At the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
Let's get him on the show.
I think for some reason I thought he moved to Ireland or something.
Good for him.
He's a very good writer. He also wrote Jason X.
Yeah,
he's written some really fun stuff.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Sexy Cronenberg.
Sexy
Gotta do
Cronenberg.
it. But we're pretty excited to see like what comes with that. So people are like, oh, not another remake. But I think when it's that campy horror genre, you can just keep going. Just do another one.
Just bleed it dry. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's go.
If any subgenre should have remake over remake, it's the slasher genre.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll see. Alyssa, what kind of news you got?
Yeah. So I don't want to be the downer at the moment, but as a lot of people, as these girls know, but a lot of people know Friday the 13th is my baby franchise, the one that broke me into the genre and made me love all that the slash camp had to offer. And one of my favorites is part 4, the final chapter. And unfortunately, actor Eric Anderson passed away. If you don't know who that is, he played Rob in part 4. Rob is he's not a bounty hunter, but he, in part 2, his sister Sandra basically was one of Jason's victims. So in part 4, he comes back to try to venge for her. And he is responsible for the best, funniest, and most simultaneously chilling line the whole franchise has to offer. And when he's screaming, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" If you don't know what I'm talking about, insert the clip, because it's funny, but it's also really kind of chilling at the same time. And it's awful. He passed away with cancer. I mean, he's also been in other things. Like he's been on guests on Murder, She Wrote, Dallas, Quantum Leap, all those great 80s shows that we all kind of grew up loving if you were of that age. And he will be missed.
Let's raise our glass to him.
Rob, you caught him. You didn't end him, but you caught him. That's more than a lot of people could say.
Hear, hear. Well, in happier news, or less sad, did you guys watch anything new this week?
I'm still reeling over catching up on Immaculate and Lisa Frankenstein. I have things on the queue. Next is The First Omen. But I'm catching up. I usually catch up on the year's worth of stuff the year after. But this year, clearly, since we started this, that's changing, which I'm very happy about. So I'm excited to catch up on stuff. So
I watched a new Shudder release that I've been waiting for not just all month when it was announced, thanks to Fangoria, which releases the first of the month. They tell you like what's coming in horror on all your streaming platforms, and the biggest one I was waiting for has been Stop Motion. So that finally came out on Shudder, and I got to watch it, and I have been super hyped because I love a good like artistic take on a horror movie. And I also think that stop motion animation is fundamentally one of the creepiest things out there. Like, even if it's not horror, like going back and watching that Christmas special with the Island of Broken Toys or whatever, or what's it called?
Rudolph?
Yeah, horrifying.
Rudolph and Frosty.
Yeah.
Frosty.
So
Yeah,
Rankin
and the
Bass
Abominable
one?
Snowman and that lumberjack dude.
Oh my gosh.
And then the island of
it is
Misfit Toys. Is that what it's called? Oh, terrifying. Horrifying.
Wow.
Stop motion's creepy.
It's really creepy.
But the movie Stop Motion was I saw some. I didn't watch a trailer, but I did see images, and the images were very disturbing. Yeah. And the movie held up because essentially it is just plot wise. It's a stop motion animator struggles with the loss of her mother, and it is a mix between actual film footage and stop motion animation that they incorporate in, and they do it in an incredibly great way. It is directed by Robert Morgan, and he's also a stop motion animator. He is a BAFTA award-winning director for one of his shorts, which is a stop motion short. And it's, I don't know, it was disturbing. It was really disturbing.
Yeah.
But like visually stunning. There was the incorporation between the stop motion and real life was really smooth. And so it would flow very well.
May I make another film suggestion for you?
Yes.
Also a Shudder release. It's called Mad God.
Ooh.
It's
I've heard.
It's directed by the freaking iconic Phil Tippett, who is like the master of, miniature and stop motion, and like he is a genre legend. And I caught it at Beyond Fest 2 years ago, maybe. I can't remember.
It's a 7-minute short, right?
No, it's a feature.
Oh shit!
It's incredible. It's like you gotta just check it out.
Okay. It's on Shudder though.
It's on Shudder.
Okay, that'll be my next, because this movie I was waiting for it. Lived up to it.
I watched Furiosa.
Okay.
And not quite horror, but it's adjacent. And I am a huge fan of George Miller. I loved it. I thought it was such a crazy spectacle of a movie. The stunt work in it is like, it's almost like watching like Cirque du Soleil. Like there's like guys actually, jumping off like trucks onto other trucks with stilty things. And like, it was really incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy was wonderful. Everyone who did this movie put a lot of like labor and love into it. And I hope more people watch it. It's a really like strong female driven story, which is interesting coming from, a 70, 80-year-old guy. But I really loved it. I'm glad it exists in the world. I think Fury Road is one of the best action movies ever made.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not, you can't hold it to that, but it's still really good. All right. So as we enter our new series of films to watch, we're doing something kind of fun. We're calling it a summer of slashers. And we're not doing your typical slasher movies. We're choosing things that have like subverted expectations or take a new approach to the genre, kind of out of the box slashers, I keep calling it. And so I'm really excited for that. Slashers aren't necessarily my favorite genre, but I do like movies that try something new. Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be a fun month. But I guess before we get started, what was your first slasher that you guys ever saw?
I know one of mine, if not the first one, I know one of mine was either Friday the 13th 4 or 7 on Joe Bob. If it wasn't that, the one that wasn't Friday the 13th that I really distinctly remember was a little film that no one talks about, and I'm very surprised. Brad Pitt's first film, Cutting Class. I remember at Movie Merchants, the video rental store. I think the first time I saw it may have been in there because I would rent based on the cover. And I remember, I didn't know who Brad Pitt was when I was a kid. Like, I just, whatever. And I remember renting it. And that movie had the first, in Thanksgiving in the trailer, the trampoline.
Yeah.
That movie had it first. Sorry, Eli Roth. No, not sorry, because I feel like he might have gotten inspiration from that maybe. But I think it was really cool. I don't know. Have you ever seen Cutting Class?
I don't think
Have you
so.
heard of it?
No, I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Because nobody talks about it. And if you haven't seen it, it's Cutting Class. It's Brad Pitt. It's Jill Schoelen. And it's Sabrina's principal on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Did you know they dated, by the way?
Wait, what?
Jill Schoelen and Brad Pitt were in a
I thought you meant the principal.
No.
Sabrina. I was like,
no, that's her dad. I remember reading that they dated. Oh, and let's not forget Donovan Leitch, legend of singer Donovan, the spawn of Donovan, who I saw play Hedwig at the Roxy and Hedwig in the Angry Inch, and it was awesome.
Donovan did the Watching Me song, right? Mm. He's a
He did. They call me Mellow Yellow.
Oh no! Oh, yeah. Donovan, the guy with
Donovan.
Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But he wears the things on his head and he's a little, okay. No. I'm on board with you.
They're a musical. I saw him play, not Donovan, but I saw Donovan Leitch play at a Catholic church too. with Mark McGrath and Sebastian Bach from Skid Row.
That
was a fun night. Unpack. I'd like to talk about it sometime. Now's not the time. But we'll talk about it.
What was yours? First slasher.
Okay, so like first one I can remember is... Okay, so I had to go get some brain scans done, and I had to stay up for 24 hours. And I think I was like elementary school, like late elementary school. And because I had to stay up for 24 hours, my mother relented and let me go rent. I could pick one movie that I wanted to watch. So I would stay up for these 24 hours. And I picked Urban Legends. So that was my very first one.
Legend.
No, Urban
the first
Legend.
One.
The first one. The very first one.
Yeah.
Not Final Cut and not Bloody Mary.
I like Final Cut a lot.
No, I like Final Cut. But that wasn't the one. The one was with Rebecca Gayheart and Jared Leto and Michael Rosenbaum, one of my favorite actors actually, because he voiced the Flash on Justice League, and I'm a nerd. And I have a signed autograph from him.
He saw you at the musical when you were there the same day.
Yeah, I've worked with him.
And except for the dog in the microwave scene, which was like, well, I guess I'm definitely staying up because I think that was like one of the first like animal murder things I'd ever seen in a horror movie either. And I was like,
it's never enjoyable.
No, that was a lot. And I felt really bad for Michael Rosenbaum and his dog.
I can't even think about it. Ooh.
I can see it in my brain while we're talking about it. But that was another one of those movies where like if you're in a WB movie or a WB TV show, you got to be in that movie because it also had from Dawson's Creek.
Pacey.
Yeah. I think it had a pretty good. It had a good cast looking back. It had a fun.
Danielle Harris was in it.
Oh yeah, she was the roommate.
Yeah, the goth girl.
Yep. And all of I love that I'd heard of all of them. I heard like the dog licking under the bed, but they did it in a different way. They did it with like, don't turn on the lights or whatever. And then the campus security guard who like, instead of being like a bumbling cop, it was the campus security guard. Yeah, she was great.
I love Loretta Devine.
I think my favorite though is definitely the opening kill with the car.
Oh yeah.
Because that messed
Brad
me
Dourif.
up. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Brad Dourif.
It was. It's a scary opening. Oh, you.
So I just put that freaking together. That's Chucky.
You have to watch it now. You have to rewatch it.
I'm gonna rewatch it. I own it.
Yep.
I really, really love that I check the backseat of my cars, but I will say that movie also had one of those kills that like sticks with you forever. Is the and it's not just because of my effed up foot right now. It's the dean in the parking garage with the Achilles heel swipe from under the car.
Yes.
And I would look under cars forever because I was so freaked out by that. But to this day, and like if you're ever in a car with me after like Midsummer Scream, I get really fucking paranoid about driving over the tire things because of what happened to him. Yep. Like I know it's like I'm in a car or whatever, but something about those tire things like really freak me out.
I think about that too because of that. That's so funny.
That's like Final Destination lumber truck level with me is the kills in that movie.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. I am gonna rewatch that movie. I love that movie.
You should.
I will watch it, not just for the Flash.
What was yours? Are you still thinking?
I believe it was which is a Friday the 13th with the psychic girl.
7.
Yeah, so
I love 7.
It was like a New Year's Eve, and I was really little. I was like 6.
Yeah,
and it was like a New Year's Eve party that my parents were at, and like all the kids were like relegated to some like room downstairs, and one of the older kids put on that movie. And I remember it was like the second horror movie I had ever seen in my life. And
really?
Yeah. And it scared me, but it's like the nostalgia of that one for me is like always like that's always going to be my favorite because it was my first.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There are people who hate it, but that's one of my favorites because it was one of my first too.
But isn't that also the first Kane Hodder one? Or am I making
It's the first Kane Hodder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's pretty badass.
So good in that.
Yeah. I like that movie.
It's good.
10 out of 10.
Carrie versus Jason. What's not to love?
Right? Well, let's get into it.
Besides the slashers of our past, what are the slashers of our present?
The slashers of our present seem to be pretty promising. I mean, yeah.
The first one in our series, because it just came out, In a Violent Nature.
A Shudder release.
Violent Nature. These are the hooks. This is the dance with hooks.
That's the dance he was doing.
That's what he does when he walks. Instead of the footsteps, it's this.
Dun, dun.
I wish that
Can
was
you imagine an hour and a half of...
Yes. I don't know.
That would be amazing,
I'd watch it.
actually. So, as always, we will just talk about brief thoughts, and then we will get into spoilers. We will put it in the timestamp and chapters. If you're listening to this, stop it now. Watch it. It will be on... Do you know when it's going to be on Shudder?
Oh, I don't know if there's a date as of right now, but I believe it's usually like a month or so after it's been in theaters. So right now it's in theaters everywhere.
Cool. Well, we'll tell you when to stop it, and you should see it and come back. Yeah. But now, general thoughts.
I remember that we saw this trailer when we went to see Late Night with the Devil, another Shudder release, and pretty happy to see it on a big screen because I think Shudder's always had really good choices with the movies that they've made. Really fun choices. And they've been a big supporter of the indie genre and the foreign horror film genre for a really long time in making those movies. I think Shudder is personally to me one of the reasons that indie horror, but foreign horror is more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll go on record, thank Sam Zimmerman for this. And also Sam was one of the main producers in this movie.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
Which did not have 47 production companies
sure
tagged
didn't.
onto this.
It didn't.
Much shorter. But I will say this did seem like a smaller production. Yeah. It's a Canadian film. Well, filmed in Canada anyway. So I think that as far as doing like the summer slasher movie that we have come to expect, I think that if this is going to be what this one is, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I'm pretty okay with does he have like a fun name?
Johnny.
But that's not a fun name.
It can be.
No. Sorry to all the Johnnies out there. I mean, I'm not saying your name isn't fun. I'm just saying like it's not Ghostface. It's not Freddy or Jason.
I think he needs like two more installments. Maybe one more to get a nickname.
Like what's the press call him?
The press, the media, the pictures call him. I don't know.
Yeah, minor
Fireface.
Fireface.
Because he was
Fireface Hatchet Man.
Fireface Hatchet Hook Man.
No, I actually really liked it. It's one of those movies where I feel like the experience of watching it was really cool. I don't know if I would go back and like just put it on TV necessarily, unless somebody
for ASMR.
Unless somebody wanted to watch it, I would rewatch it with them. But I think I just enjoyed just the active experience of being present, and I was so thankful that I've been trying to see movies at like 10 a.m. because get off my lawn. That's me, and I just don't like the theater going experience anymore. It doesn't make me happy, so I try to go when no one's going to be there. And there were a few people there. I actually tried to find a screening, and they were almost all half full, like even in the mornings on Mondays and stuff. So that made me really happy. It was a good audience. They were quiet, except a kill. We'll get into it, but there was a kill that you just hear one person so uncomfortable, and they're just like, like they didn't know how to react.
No, I'd agree with that because I think seeing it with an audience, sometimes seeing with an audience makes a film more enjoyable. Sometimes it makes it less, but this one, it made it more enjoyable. Yeah. I really liked seeing what kills they reacted to.
Right.
But yeah, I saw a 150 showing on a Sunday afternoon, and it was pretty full. It was a good number of people had like pre-bought tickets too. So It wasn't, because when I looked for ticket times, it was still pretty full. And
I looked at that theater too.
Yeah.
I almost saw it with you.
I like seeing it in those loungers.
Yeah. One thing I will say that I really appreciate, and I heard somebody compare it this way, and I thought it was really cool, even though I've never seen this movie, but I can understand the comparison. It was this year's Skinamarink, and I've heard that that's a very polarizing film. Kind of, you either love it or you hate it. You either get it or you don't. And I heard that's kind of similar to this one.
No.
Sort of?
No.
Really?
I think this movie took a lot more effort to make than Skinamarink, which is like, some dude like shooting a camera on the floor in the dark.
Right.
Like,
I think in terms of like,
this took craft to make, in my opinion.
I really
it's like cinematography.
Yeah, the cinematography for this movie was really beautiful. We saw it Wednesday night, the early release, and I kind of thought, oh well, we'll get a jump on it and it'll be empty. Sold out everywhere.
Wow.
Like we finally found tickets at like 11 p.m. and it was still full. Really, like a crowd, like our crowd was good, but they really responded, like big cheers for the kills and laughs for the silly parts. You know, I left this movie being like, eh. And like now that I've had a few days to think about it, it is growing on me a little. I think my issue with it, I think, isn't the movie itself, but it's kind of the marketing of being told we're going to get a killer POV slasher when it's not necessarily that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like not just specifically kind of like gaming.
Yeah,
POV
I think it kind of it goes through both. You know, the perspective of the killer and the perspective of the victims. You know, I think the thing that I take away from it the most and I find most interesting is the sort of voyeurism and kind of making us look at, like, you know, when I watch a slasher movie, I'm just like, okay, who's going to get it next? Yeah, fodder for the killer. And now we're just sort of like, it's kind of messed up when you watch like humans scurrying around like that. And it makes you think about why you love horror movies a little bit.
Well, I think like as far as the killer POV part of it, normally in a horror movie, we're following the final girl and her friends. Even if we don't know who the final girl is, we're following their story. We're following what they're doing and why this is happening to them and what's going on that leads them to this. And it's all about the final girl. But for this movie, it wasn't about the final girl because at first I actually picked the wrong final girl.
We barely got to know.
Yeah, I did not make the right choice for who I thought was going to be the final girl. But you're following him. He's the lead. And I don't think in a lot of movies, maybe in a lot of movies, the killer's the lead because we've grown to love them like Freddy or Jason. But I think that from the get-go, Johnny is the lead. The killer is the star.
And that's what I really appreciate about this movie, because it really, however you look at it, it really is an innovative way. Then why we're doing the month too, because you don't really see that point of view. And I think a lot of times, a lot of us wonder who whether you love slashers or not, you always wonder what goes on when the slasher is just like on his way. Like, does he go to the bathroom? Like, how does he eat? What does he do on his downtime? And I feel like a lot of people might think that's fucking boring. Yeah, he's boring. I get it. I totally get how people think that's boring. I thought that was awesome because he stops at nothing. He has a mission, he's going on it, and I love seeing, I thought it was like the other side of the waterfall. Like, I love seeing that other point of view, and the way that they shifted point of views when they did too, I thought was really cool, because you could clearly, it wasn't like a sudden shift. It wasn't like, oh, I'm seeing it from here and then all of a sudden I'm you know, the final girl, whatever. I love that it was such a subtle camera move where like all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're following the victims, the people that.
Yeah, and I think just I think I was a little disappointed because I wanted it to be more clever than it was. And that's fine, I think. But the more I think about it, the more things that I do find interesting about it.
Well, I think one thing that kind of pushed it over the edge was the marketing. They marketed it as people are throwing up in this theater. They're vomiting and passing out.
As per usual.
But like, and how many times have we heard that? I mean, of course, we heard it with The Exorcist when it like legit happened. And now everyone's kind of been like chasing that high and they say that it happens. But like, we heard it with Terrifier. We heard it with...
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't even think, it's been used so much. But now to the point where people are like, they threw up in the preview. I'm like, okay.
I don't think
maybe they were hungover. Like,
yeah, I think, but sometimes it felt a little like a video game to me.
Yeah, I think that, and they said that that wasn't the intention too, because they're not gamers. I think Chris Nash, sorry. I think I read something after I saw it that he said he's not a gamer, so that wasn't even the intent to begin with. So it's really interesting.
I don't know. I didn't get video game vibes from this.
Really?
No, and I play a lot of them, and like I love playing as the killer. Like when you play Friday the 13th, the game, you are playing as Jason, and like I can kind of see it from like looking right now from the angles when you're playing Jason, because it's not like this. Yeah. It's not like Phasmophobia where you're just seeing your hands. You are seeing the characters. So like I kind of see that, but I would have never assumed that was the director's choice. I think that's just like something that happens because like, you know, sometimes you're the final girl and sometimes you're Jason.
I appreciate any new take on the genre because I feel like everyone expects, you know, there's a certain formula to the slasher or whatever. And I love that this is kind of like the underside of that. And it's like, what would the POV be in this instance? And I like that. I respect the take on it. And I like Johnny. I really like him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to disparage. Like, I do think people should go see this movie.
Yeah.
I just it wasn't 100% what I expected it to be.
Right.
But as I said, it is growing on me a little bit. And I think I read somewhere that the director's vibe was more like, you know, Gus Van Sant work and like some really serious stuff. And to me, it almost felt like, I can't think of the guy's name who does all the Adult Swim movies, like Casper or something. I did Yule Log and
That's interesting.
Too Many Cooks. Yeah. Like there's like some like kind of like funky choices there that I actually really liked.
Yeah, I was gonna, because I was gonna bring it up, maybe spoilers, but it's not because I'm not getting into anything. But I actually thought this was supposed to be based on the marketing, like you said, a little. I wouldn't say misleading, but I thought it was gonna be this very serious, like no BS messing around. There's a humor to it, right? Mm-hmm. So the humor I saw wasn't me just being a silly person laughing at it. Like it's actually humorous.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was laughing a lot. There was. I'll get into it later. But yeah, there was a tone to this that I did not expect.
No, and afterwards, I definitely was reminded of Adult Swim Yule Log, which is Casper Kelly's.
Casper Kelly.
Okay.
Casper Kelly. Yeah. Which like opening of it. Okay, so a lot of scenes in this reminded me of the opening of Adult Swim Yule Log, where you're literally just watching the fire and stuff is happening. Yeah. And then it goes like Adult Swim Yule Log is like comedy. It's Adult Swim. It goes like completely off the rails, but in like 3 different directions and nutter butters.
I also think though that Yule Log is incredibly inventive and like very clever. That's what I'm saying, clever.
And I think but I thought that in the ambiance focused part of the movie. And then it goes a little crazy. I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting In a Violent Nature to be as comedic as it was, but they specifically made choices that there's no way you could not see them as humorous.
And it's Chris Nash is an effects artist, as is Damien Leone. And Chris Nash does a lot of those Canadian movies, like he worked on Psycho Gorman and The Void, and so he's got that group of you know, his creative bubble is a little, you know, wonky, silly, fun.
It's over the top horror. It's, I mean, I won't say, I mean, maybe it's a little bit, it's out of the box. It's a lot.
Psycho Gorman was one of my favorite movies the year it came out.
And I love The Void. I love The Void. The Void is a fun,
The Void's cool,
crazy ass movie. So I am a fan of his work, and I did see that this is an effects artist having fun.
I read somewhere that they reshot almost the entire movie.
That's crazy.
Like they didn't like the location that they used the first time, so they went and did it again, and they recast Johnny.
Wow.
Yeah.
There were like three Johnnies. There was one lead Johnny, but I think if I remember from the script, there was multiple.
Was there a Johnny 5?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there is one lead Johnny, and when I look at IMDb,
I hate myself.
Like we said, like who's the star? When I look on IMDb, that's the first name that's listed.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Is Rye Barrett. Yeah. He's the lead, which I love. You know, give these guys, give these slashers what they are due.
Like, I sympathize with Johnny.
But I do think I remember from the credits that there were multiple Johnnies. I looked at that. But you know, you got to have like stunt people and all that stuff. So maybe that's what they meant.
Well, I think that somebody did a part of the movie and then something happened and they dropped out.
Okay.
So I think he replaced somebody.
Okay. Well, he did a great job.
All right. Everything I have left to say is in spoiler territory.
Yeah, so let's give them a little synopsis, and then let's get into some spoilers.
Yeah. When a group of teens takes a locket from a collapsed fire tower in the woods, they unwittingly resurrect the rotting corpse of Johnny, a vengeful spirit spurred on by a horrific 60-year-old crime. The undead killer soon embarks on a bloody rampage to retrieve the stolen locket, methodically slaughtering anyone who gets in his way. Yeah, so, you know.
This is our spoiler. I want to start that off with spoilers.
Spoiler Town.
Spoiler Town is here. We are back with Spoiler Town, so if you haven't seen the movie. check it out while it's still in theaters. If you can't, watch it the minute it's on Shudder and come back.
Dun,
you
dun.
can always listen if you want, but we highly suggest you pause that baby and come back because there's some good stuff. And on that note, spoiler.
So yeah, you can't have a slasher movie without waking up your slasher. So
I like how they did that too, because I don't. Did you guys see it in a theater where it was like they did laser or whatever, the special like things they do in theaters now? Every time I look, it's like Dolby, like laser, whatever. And then the theater I saw it in was like standard. No, it doesn't matter, like nothing. And it was very almost like 70s. It was grainy a little bit. Was that in yours?
Oh, mine was not grainy. Mine was crispy.
I kind of liked that it was a little bit grainy. It was kind of cool. And I couldn't tell if that affected the audio because in the beginning you got Troy. Oh, God, Troy, of course, his name is Troy.
Right.
And the other dude, I only remember two names.
Troy.
Or Aaron. It was Aaron and something. And they're just like, yeah, dude, there's necklace,
Evan.
blah, blah, blah. And you just like, yeah, it's Evan.
Wait, there isn't Aaron.
Aaron, but it's of course it's spelled EHREN.
Oh, those silly Canadians.
Aaron.
Oh, those Canadians, we love ya.
Oh gosh.
We love ya.
Eh?
But yeah, I love how Johnny wakes up because there's the Aaron and the other dude. One of them, Troy, called. Do you remember? Who it was?
There was the douchey guy. I don't want to go by their
too.
names, but can I go by like the douchiest?
Yes.
King douche.
They do have a bit of their stereotypes. I mean, the thing about the characters is they don't get too much into it, and I don't think that was the point.
No, because they're not the
right.
point.
They
They're
were
not
supposed
the
to
focal
be-
of this.
They were supposed to be like the stereotype, I think, of like
Right.
kind of
No, they're the antagonists.
right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't steal a man's mama's jewelry.
Exactly.
No,
tell you.
you don't steal. You don't rob a gravesite. Even if you don't know if it's a gravesite, just like assume everything
Yeah.
is a gravesite. Don't steal it if it's not yours.
Camera slowly pans and you see the necklace they're talking about, and one of them just grabs it, and then after that it's just this kind of like slow little wake up of Johnny. There's no music, by the way, and there's no soundtrack.
In the entire movie.
The only soundtrack is ambient bird noises, which was beautiful, and gut squishy, and that was beautiful too.
Yeah, I love that choice. That was fun.
I think that was a great choice.
The aesthetic and ambiance of this movie were my favorite parts of it.
I never thought that I would want, because I fall asleep to meditations and to like nice noises and rain. I never thought I would want the soundtrack to this film to put me to sleep one day, and I think it will.
So this reminded me of the movies I put on YouTube videos for my dog when I leave,
Yeah.
so we can have something to watch, and it's
Yes.
8 hours of like squirrels and birds. And I
do
was
that
like,
too.
oh my God, this is what I need to be put on when I'm at home to entertain me while my dog is out. I don't know, when he goes on his adventures without
to your
me.
new-
But like, I would literally want there to be a lo-fi channel of just Johnny walking through various forests with like serene woods scenes, which they did, and they like it reminded me of a nature documentary. But there's a slasher in there. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed that. I would just watch him walking. I don't care where he's
No,
going.
I
I'm
do
along.
like it. And that's the thing that was really polarizing for people was, oh, it's just a bunch of walking. It's an hour and a half of walking. Totally get that. Totally get how that's not anybody's cup of tea. I liked it because ADD. I space out a lot. So it was really nice to watch a movie where like there's a few minutes of time where you're just like just clunk in the woods, hearing branches break and birds, because then I'm like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden gut starts squishing. And I'm like, okay, now I wake up. But no, I liked that aspect. I thought it was cool. But it's also hard for a rewatch, I think, too, because of that.
I don't
But-
know. I put on a lot of horror movies because as my background. That's what I do if I'm home, if I'm cleaning, if I'm editing, if I most likely have a horror movie on in the background. And this will be an easy one for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not calling it a rewatch, but I will say this is going to be really good. What other people use for lo-fi for studying, this would be my like studying movie.
Yeah, it's definitely like an atmosphere movie. Like, I can imagine having a slasher themed party and just keeping it on all night,
Yeah,
like with the
yeah.
music loud. So, you know,
Right.
it's just there. It's just
It is kind of
visual.
a background visual. No,
Yeah.
and you could put music too. But I just love how that wakes up Johnny. It's such a simple premise, which slasher films usually are. But I love how they really wrapped it, like just the whole story in general. It was so simple. Take the necklace, that wakes him up. He wakes up through like a pipe. I almost thought it was 3D for a second because the pipe just like slowly comes up in your POV.
I was like, is he breathing through this pipe?
Yeah, it's like, is that how he's, is it like his breathing mechanism? But yeah, he wakes up and then he starts walking, man. He starts walking. The walking journey starts.
Well, and he doesn't even walk that far. I think he goes to like the closest neighboring house.
I think that was his house. I think that was his childhood house because the photo. Like
because it was close to it.
So like naturally, like I think that's just where Yeah.
No. What happened is he came across a dead animal on the ground that was in a trap, and he looked, and this I don't know what animal it was, but it looked canine, and it had been stuck in a bear trap and left to starve to death. Instead of being killed, it was left to starve, and they made that very clear through their prosthetics and through the creature that it was left to suffer on that trap, and with a trail cam watching it suffer. And then they had a pink tie around the tree right above the trail cam, and then he looks up and he sees all the other pink ties. And the pink ties led him back to that fucker's house. And I love a movie where I'm like, get him.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yes.
And get that guy.
Well, and they do a good job of establishing that as being a shitty dude anyway. And,
Yeah. The ranger's there. Like, you can't have your traps out. You got to stop doing that. And like,
this is protected land. This is a forest. And he's like, come make me
and he's
stop.
Yeah, and the ranger seems extra protective at the time. We don't know why he's still like, one of these days, you're going to be the one out there. But, he knows his stuff for a reason. And I love that POV where, Johnny's walking around surveying, then he walks in while the other guy is outside. And I love when he just stands there and you hear the radio. I was trying to hear the radio to see if it said anything about, you can learn stuff about things like that. But no, he was just standing there, and I always think when you see the character in the slasher kind of walking around, but the slasher's around, it's like, oh, where is he? And I love them, just picturing them standing there, just going for like 10 minutes, just spacing out, just staring straight ahead. But that's when he looks at the photo, right? That's why I thought it was his childhood home, because
he looked in a mirror and it was like he looked at the photo and the mirror behind it, and then the image of his father
saying like, Johnny,
into the
here's
mirror.
your necklace to remember your mom.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he delivered it.
That was like one of those like Adult Swimmy moments for me.
That was super Adult Swimmy.
It was so amazing. Here, Johnny, take this necklace. Remember your mom.
Look in the fireplace and see this old-timey Colonel Sanders dude. Yeah.
This will come back.
But then, like, he sees a necklace and he looks at it. It says something like
number
one motherfucker.
Another one motherfucker.
Because he thinks it's his mom's, but then he sees it. It's like number one motherfucker.
Who has a necklace that says?
Well, he has a hat. Well, he's like, I am the number one motherfucker, and I want everybody to know it.
I feel like you need that hat and that necklace.
I think you would wear that hat.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I can see you wearing that to set. You walk in day one as a director, whip that hat on, and be like, "All right, let's go."
Yes.
But yeah, I love that. I like that kill. But also, they didn't give it to us. They off-screened it.
They were saving it.
And then they went back and they kind of gave him in the background with just like body parts.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, good. At least he suffered.
You saw that there was at least a severed limb here.
It would have been cool if he just left him to rot like he did the dog.
Oh, yeah. Aww. On the thing. Yeah.
No, but then he probably would have been saved. So I think he did need to be getting.
Those are Johnny's Woods. I wouldn't mess with nothing in Johnny's Woods.
They did throughout the movie. He does make choices about what kills to show and what kills not to show. There, it's not like we get every single one, which I think is a good choice. Like, yes, it's in a violent nature, so you assume you're going to get a ton of kills. But if you get too many, then it starts to go into like a human centipede, like hostile territory, which I didn't want with this film.
No.
So I did appreciate that there is gore, but we didn't get to see it for gore's sake. We got to see the kills that they wanted us to see.
And they were violent.
They were of a violent nature.
I'm gonna love talking about these bullet points because it's gonna be like something happens and then the next bullet point is Johnny's walking.
Then Johnny walks some more.
Next place, which is fine. He's walking to his next destination where he, hears a car and he hears douchebags just screaming and
my note was, dude is on the move.
Yep, dude is on the Johnny on the move.
He's like, all right, killed that guy. Who's next?
I am looking for the one thing I want to do with this is play a different soundtrack I want to rewatch it. Just scenes of him walking to different soundtracks, like do like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, Stay Alive. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Do like Benny Hill.
See, like it matches up. Like
no, because it'd be funny. Just different tones. Do like a new metal soundtrack. Do like
Bodies on the floor.
Bodies on the floor. Then just do like I Will Survive. I don't know. Just do the most random stuff.
Well, I think if you find the right beats per minute, you can get a soundtrack that matches him, like Uptown Girl matches everything.
Yes, exactly. Like, and the vibe is different by each song, or just do.
I feel like maybe Johnny would be less mad if he listened to some Billy Joel.
I think so. Not the shit on the freaking headphones that he could have taken from someone, but yeah, whatever they were listening to. Yeah, he needs to listen to some Billy Joel.
Cure all his problems.
Yeah.
Too bad he only plays in New York.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Johnny.
Johnny listens to Guns N' Roses. He's a Guns N' Roses dude. He's not.
So yeah, then the next thing he sees is some people that are acting like dicks, and they're shooting up in the fort. Not shooting up. They're shooting up the not in the. All right, the phrasing was wrong.
Hunter kinds of shooting, not.
No, they're just shooting guns for fun, or like poppers, or they're doing something weird, like
being
fireworks.
loud.
Yeah, they're being obnoxious, and he's like, okay, goes. I'm gonna go kill these teens.
Like, did you take my necklace?
But I mean,
They did.
But yeah, they go up on this group of teenagers. College group of youngins.
Youngins enough.
Like,
it's slasher rules of young.
Exactly.
So it's like they're like 30, but they're playing like 20.
Exactly. And now my biggest question, because in the scene where they're establishing, I put that in quotes because I think it's intentional. I really don't know if it's intentional or not. But that pan, by the way, the circling, I that made me dizzy. But
I was trying to find Johnny the entire time.
Me too. Because the way that they establish them is they're circling, just constant pan of the camera, and then they tell the legend of Johnny, you know. And you see him when they take the picture, because they take a group picture when they go inside, and then Johnny's in the background. But yeah, they each are kind of a dick, and then you get the establishing, like, the girl says something to her boyfriend, he's kind of a dick to her, and then the other guy who you think's gonna be like, he's like the final guy, who says they have a look, so you know that they're like the good ones, kind of.
You have the stone. Okay, so you have the classics. So we have the guy that sucks,
the
shitty boyfriend,
The bro jock type.
Yeah, we have the stoner best friend.
Yes.
Who brings up that he like, I think I smoked a bug in this. Like, he's obviously very much panning to the fact that he is the stoner friend. The punk girl.
Yes.
Which wasn't really like, I think Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street is what really brought like her into being one of, or no, like the rebel girl.
Yeah, she
The
seemed
manic
out of,
pixie dream girl.
Yeah, they just did not seem like the yoga girl felt very out of place, or one of them felt very out of place. But those two, like the combined, did not like, they just did not look like the same.
I actually thought Yoga Girl was going to be the final girl.
The way that they show her, yeah,
I thought she was going to be the final girl. Just the way that they did make her a little more like she's the ethereal, she's the blonde ish character. So, and then you have like the tortured soul.
Yeah.
Emo guy.
The reason why they're there, I think, right? Because he had like a parent die, something, one of those cliches. I don't know.
Something happened to him, and
right.
he was going through it. That's what they said.
And that's so. Was it intentional for the dialogue to be bad, or the acting to not be great?
I kind of feel like they were trying to go for that 80s slasher.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And because they're not the important part. So
right.
I thought that they were like intentionally generic.
And that's the thing, because and that's not a diss on the writers or whatever, because I genuinely thought, okay, are they just supposed to be non-important? Just like, it's not,
I just
care.
feel like it was the choice that they made.
Yeah. I like that then. I like that.
I think it went a little far in the lake scene where I was like, this doesn't even feel like a scene. This feels like a softcore
It was
porn.
a little forced.
It was super forced.
A little forced.
I thought that was a
We'll
little
get to
much.
that.
Yeah.
So
like, nice.
they take a photo,
Oh, no.
a nice group photo, and then you see Johnny in the background, which they have really bad in like spatial awareness, I guess, spatial sense, just this in the lake scene, like he's clearly there. You can kind of see him, but it's
Yeah, but have you ever been to like a haunted house and then all of a sudden you turn around and there's a scare actor like right here and you didn't feel them?
that was me. No, it's true. That's a scary ass feeling.
But yeah, I think that people can creep up on you.
It's true. Yeah. What happens after that? So they go.
Well, then they go back to the house and
they talk about the truck stop girls or
the
something?
gas station girls.
The gas station girls.
So Stoner Bro is going to go to meet up with these gas station girls, and then they just keep on repeating the line, fill her up, fill her
I
up,
know,
fill
they
her
said like
up,
10
fill her
times.
up. And I was like, you can stop.
But, like, I don't think he was even. I think he was like gonna go take a shit in the woods. I don't think he was going to meet with anybody.
I think
They
no,
were-
I
really
think he
was
was going to
thinking-
go meet with
Oh,
anybody.
really?
I think that was going to be the point.
I think he needed to take a shit and then meet them.
Because like, he took all his gear. He was like, he was going to smoke. He was going to do his whole thing. Yeah, like maybe he just wanted to get laid because he wasn't going to get laid by anyone who was there.
Yeah.
The story that they do say in the circle, though, kind of sets up Johnny's story. And do you remember it?
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
So there was like a mining camp or whatever, and then Johnny's dad ran the general store, and because it was the only store in town, the prices were jacked, and because inflation. And then all the miners were dicks, and they were like, "Well, I'm going to take it out on your son, who happens to be
He was
mentally handicapped, but they called him like
slow is the word that they said.
I don't need that life,
no,
man.
weird.
I did not need that. Couldn't it just be like a group of grown men were picking on a kid? Like, we would have already felt bad if it was like he's the only kid in camp, and so these miners who were absolute like sociopaths decided, well, I'm gonna take it out on your child.
Yeah, I think dialogue wise, I think that was just addressing kind of PC culture a little bit, but also character wise, I know that the writer was saying that he took very, very heavy inspiration, obviously, from Jason Voorhees, from The Burning, even though that's not the same thing. My Bloody Valentine, but Jason obviously is that character type.
Yeah, in the original, the Ari Lehman Jason was supposed to be special needs of some sort.
Right, but they also, like, in The Final Girls, they say the same thing, is that, like, the killer is, like, he was mentally not... what did they say?
Yeah.
No, I'm generally bringing it up. I mean,
I think they're all trying to be Friday the 13th, but I agree, it's not necessary.
It didn't need to be.
I think, I mean, when it came out, I was like, I don't need this shit. Come on. We didn't have to do this. It's 2024. We don't need this.
And I think that's what the commentary was a little bit, because you got Yoga Girl being like, I believe the term, like that, you know.
Well, but they were making fun of her. The Snyders and the thing are mine. It's not my fault that you guys are such fragile masculinity. Like, I was like, okay, so they're making her be like a lot.
And she's the one that's like, group photo, the lighting is best over here.
Yeah, I think after, like, when it kept going, I was like, oh, she's not going to be the final girl, because they hate her. Everyone hates her. But I really think that we've come such a long way with films and stuff like that. We don't need the kid to be slow. We don't need that. Like, you can be a dick to a kid just to be a dick to a kid.
Yeah.
And the kid can be resentment.
Right.
I would have felt bad for him just because he was the only kid in a mining town and everyone was awful to him.
Right.
And they drew him up using toys and they murdered him. They could have just done that to any kid. They didn't need to add in the fact that this happened. So as much as I did like this movie, I think that part I was like, I really could have done without.
Yeah.
I really didn't appreciate it.
Well, and then what happened was they lured him up there, right, with toys.
Or said it was toys, yeah.
Right. And then did they push him down, or he fell?
They scared him.
They scared him. He fell off. And they panicked and, oh shit! But they scared him with the mask, right?
And then they put the mask on him.
So they put the mask on him to cover
to make
it up.
It look like he had done it himself.
Right. So that was Gianni's backstory. And so you get a lot of the characters talking. Johnny's walking around. You get the final girl having an argument with her boyfriend. So that sets that kind of little vignette up. And gas station guy goes to meet not gas station guys. Stoner guy, goes to take a shit / gas her up. Wait, what was it?
Fill
her up.
Gas her up would be a whole different thing.
Yeah, they're all cringe.
They're all just
they all
cringe.
suck. They're all the worst.
They all suck.
I wasn't excited. I was like, I don't know, kill them all.
Yeah, you're with your POV dude. You're on his side, and I like that.
So then we get our first big kill.
Yes.
So he goes behind the tree and which is always fun, a nice head kill.
Kill the guy trying to shit.
Don't shit in the woods. It's follow the rules. Don't shit in the woods.
True. But yeah, it's like he's got like his headphones on and all this shit, and all of a sudden, boom, this machete right through his mouth.
Like he wasn't even trying to shit. No, he wasn't. He was trying to smoke up.
I thought he was peeing.
No, I thought he was trying to smoke.
I just assume the dude's trying to, like, he said he's gonna go shit in the woods. I just assume he's gonna try to shit in the woods.
Well, he's not squatting or nothing.
I hope he's high. Of all the kills in this, that's probably how I'd want to go, because you're not seeing it. You're just chilling, and all of a sudden, like, it's like, what the fuck? Done. Yeah. Like, that's how I would want to go.
I didn't love the top part of the head.
Yeah.
Because I thought the eyes looked a little like flat.
They were static.
Yeah. But I love the bottom half. I love the weight that the corpse had when he was dragging him. I didn't know what, I was like, what's he gripping on to? What you got? Well, because he was like, it was from the back, which would just be like the cratered part of the skull. So like, what was he gripping? Because there's like no hole. I don't know. I was just kind of like, what you got there? How'd you do that?
The world will never know.
Yeah, me and my beautiful corpses. I was like, what's going on with that corpse over there?
You and corpses, man.
Me and my corpses.
You and your corpses. I love, that was the first hint I got of, maybe this movie does have a bit of humor, because he's still listening to the music. And I loved how, as the time goes on, as he's walking, the music dies out, like more and more like messed up. And he goes to the ranger station. And we laughed so hard. He just throws body parts, and then he walks in and he sees that the mask that was put on him was framed, and so was the axe and the weapon stuff. And I love that origin of how he tries to get the mask. I thought that was the funniest part in the whole thing. Was all of a sudden you just see, like, it's just a shot of the hallway, and all of a sudden you just see him throw the body in to get the mask.
Because he didn't need to. It was just glass. He probably could have just punched through, and he's like,
nah, I'm going to throw fuck the body.
It's a rock at this point to him.
And
I mean, it does go to the show that they don't matter, neither do their dead bodies.
No.
The main note that this is how messed up I am. The one note that I thought of through the whole thing was, it bleeds into a following scene where he's playing with the car thing, but he put on the mask and he pops up, and I thought, he looks so adorable. I thought, is it just me? Yes. I thought he looked so cute in that mask. It's like his big mask, and I love Johnny.
Okay.
I think he's am I a
You're
weird?
Gonna get a little Johnny plushie?
I would.
She would.
I think he's adorable in the same way I think Pumpkinhead is absolutely adorable. Like, I want to pet Pumpkinhead.
No.
Pumpkinhead's scary, but
Pumpkinhead is like the spirit of vengeance.
No, not the principle of Pumpkinhead, but the way it looks. Just like, it's so cute. I'm a fucking weirdo. I'm a weirdo.
If you're listening to this, you need to watch the visual video version, because Alyssa's face is right now. Oh my God.
You know what? I'm not embarrassed. I have the courage to admit that I think Johnny is adorable, and I think Pumpkinhead is adorable.
Little cuties.
Little cuties.
Little cuties.
Little cuties. I want to pet their little boop. I want to boop their little noses.
I'm sure they want to boop yours right back.
Yeah.
Into your skull.
Into my skull. Through my chest. Anyway.
Because the next kill.
Speaking of heads through chests.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so then we get to the lake, and he's, which reminded me of the Friday the 13th, 2000-something remake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
With Willa Ford and
that was a fun
Veronica
scene.
Mars.
That was a fun scene.
Yeah.
Party Down. He's also in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adam Scott?
Yeah. No.
The blonde.
The blonde from Party Down.
Name, but I love him.
Oh, yeah.
He did a lot of that stuff around then.
He's funny.
He was a teen heartthrob around then. He's on the other side of the lake watching them, which is also, that's very stereotypical summer slasher and or summer camp slasher. And then he's just like, just gonna keep my walk going into the, like, it's almost zombie-esque how he just like gonna walk and nothing's gonna stop me, including this body of water.
He's like Oregon Trails that shit.
Yeah, cock the wagon and float it. And he's like, nope, we're gonna ford the river.
I thought that was so hilarious, because I took that as in, like, okay, so Jason suddenly shows up like out of water sometimes, or pops out, and he just like casually walks in. I'm like, he knows he's dead. He knows he's not gonna die from that. He just walks. And my favorite note, which you gotta post this. You gotta post it. I know the whole thing needs to be on Patreon, but this is my there's always gotta be like a favorite note that is written here. And unlike Jesus, he cannot walk on water.
You know what?
Jesus. You write your notes. I support it.
I write them for you guys.
I love them. No, he cannot walk on water.
It's true.
It's true.
I don't write them for the rest of the world.
Oh, the great Jesus Christ. Prove to me that you're no fool. Walk across my swimming pool.
Nope. What happened?
I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
It's been fun.
It also reminded me of one of the Living Dead's Land of the Dead, which is the one where the zombies start to like have characteristics of their life, and the lead zombie, who is like the gas station attendant zombie, is like telling the other zombies like, get in the water, and they're like, no, they're like, I can't, no, we can't swim, and then he's like, ugh, and just hops in and starts walking, and all the other ones are like,
do you know how much I wish that was the scene? Get in the water! I can't!
That's what he did. He was just like, oh, I'm so frustrated with these idiots who aren't as advanced as me as zombies. Like, I love that guy. The guy's the best zombie.
Oh my god.
But yeah, then that kind of reminded me of that, of like, bloom, and then just goes and the bubbles stop because he's still going. The bubbles were only like the air that was trapped in his clothes, not him breathing. Like he's just like, I'm gonna keep going. And these girls are having the most like, you missed your chance, but come F me. Fuck me later. I was like, is this flirting?
That back there. I saw that. I felt that back there. Didn't you feel that back there? I'm like, that was somebody said that to me and be like, go swim.
Like it was so weird. Yeah, they run out to the dock and she's just like, takes off her clothes because she's flirting. She's like, jump in. And the other girl's like, no, dude. Like,
I want to do yoga.
Is this you flirting? Yes. Well, you missed your chance. You should have done it now. I just did it. Too late. Come do it later, and then I'll sleep with you.
Okay. No. There's like a worse line, like about something about yoga, and then she's like, yeah, then you can come stretch me out again.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, man wrote this. This is so gross.
None of these lines would have worked on me.
No woman is going to be like, stretch my holes, sir.
I don't know.
Ma'am.
I mean, it worked for me in the past.
I mean, I thought it was nice, but fine. I mean, if either of those girls used those line at me in a bar, I don't think that it would work. I mean, like, we need to try again. I'm going to give you a take two.
Maybe
but
it would work for me because I'm weird and I think it was funny. Guys,
so you're
what's
easy.
wrong with me? I mean...
You're like, I didn't need lines. I just needed her taking her clothes off and jumping in a lake. And I would have been like,
I'm not going to argue.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I am who I am.
It's my best you impression. Okay.
I am who I am and you guys love me for me. Okay. Moving on.
I'm just judging you.
I did like that her kill was just...
Oh, I know. Although that would be a sucky way to die because you don't know what's going on under there. But even if nothing happened, drowning
holding her
sucks.
under.
Drowning sucks.
Yeah, I mean, no, he must have broken her neck or something because it was way too fast. Yeah. And there was not enough flailing.
Right.
And then she came up in a weird, like... Which I love. I love a good down floating body. I love a good...
Were you guys like thinking like, oh, it's Johnny Shark?
Johnny Shark.
There wasn't any blood.
I know, but it was just like so Jaws, where she's like in the water. And like,
yeah, yeah,
that's fair.
I can see that.
Either way, I was like, okay, fun, good kill, good job, bro, good job. And then he was like,
job,
he did
Johnny.
It so fast because the amount of time that it went from her going to him being boop, boop. Like it was a very quick.
Oh
like,
my gosh, why weren't
dead?
you on the Foley? Why couldn't you do the Foley?
That would have been on. Oh, good job for the Foley artist. I bet they had a blast.
Oh my god, all the stabs. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
I feel like they did a lot of on-set recording, like a separate boom just for dudes' feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, then instantly just bloop, bloop, bloop,
at the top
bloop,
of the
bloop.
mountain.
Yeah, and then instantly finds her where she picked a good serene spot. I guess
at the edge of a mountain.
Yeah, edge of like a
cliff.
That what it's, yeah, it's a cliff. A cliff.
Right
Overlook,
at the edge.
Something.
It's like
Yeah, into a. I mean, I bet it has a name, but yeah, that.
Right.
But my biggest problem with her is she's like, oh, you came already to come get me. Sun salutation.
Yeah, I knew you'd come.
And then
he's like clearly a heavy clunking behind her. She's like, that's what you sound like when you walk. Clearly, you tiny lady.
And then she sees him. She runs to the cliff edge and she looks down and then she's like,
oh my gosh.
Well,
she gave up so easy.
Which like is that? I don't know, but like at first I was like, "Are you shitting me? You're not gonna fight. You're not gonna run. You're not gonna take the dive." Because I would have been like, "That dude with a messed up like anyone coming at me wearing a mask
with
is
hooks?
Not a good idea with
hooks,
rusty weapons."
And at least try to like get around,
like tuck and roll, maybe.
He was going straight. There was options, and I would have gone. I would have gone down. I would have taken the chance.
Cartwheels.
She could have done literally anything, and she just went for it. Hup.
Maybe her fight or flight response was just like to freeze. Because I get like that when I get really nervous. Maybe she literally couldn't move. And she's like, well, this is it.
No, the look in her eyes was just wait for death.
Yeah.
But like, is that like just like it's a Gen Z thing that I hear? I see all the time where they're just like, I don't know, here till I die. And then she was just like, guess it's my time. She just gave no fucks.
And then she just slowly turns around, like when he impales her through this chest or whatever, and she's like, okay. That's it, right?
Yeah, there's no reaction, there's nothing.
But that wasn't it.
No, he went.
Boy, was this the kill.
I was very glad I got to see that in a movie theater because people were like my movie theater erupted. Yeah, they
same.
had fun.
Although to me, this was not my favorite kill of the movie.
But I think this was my most intense. I think this was the most intense kill.
Yeah. I laughed a lot.
It was the one that it's prolonged so long that you have to laugh because it's like, really? What next? What next?
And it's like, you know, it's funny because he kind of made her a little pretzel, like a little yoga
pretzel.
The sound effects were so good in that. Though.
The neck pop. That was good. Ooh. That looked great.
It looked really good.
That's not an effect I ever thought I wanted to do, but I was like, oh,
well done on that design because that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a new one, and I like it was subtle too. Yeah. Versus everything has been like, you know, a lot of the kills were really gory, but that neck pop, that was my favorite effect. Like, to be honest.
Yeah. What was it? This. And then he just pulls the chain. He pulls her into.
I was very fascinated by it. Like you're looking at it, you're like with analytical eyes of just like
right. Either way, I mean, whatever. It looked cool.
It looked cool.
Awesome.
I didn't question it. I was like, I'm just here for this woman getting her head thrown through her stomach. Like,
and then he's like, "Thank you."
I also thought, like, I love horror fans because I just loved the beauty of just the sound of the nature, the wind, the birds, while this like disgusting gory kill is happening. And I just like I'm watching and I'm just smiling, eating popcorn. Yeah. And then like you hear the weird uncomfortable man who clearly has never seen anything like that, and then I hear two dudes in the background going fuck like that, like just the spectrum of emotions and like how it's just a commonplace, it's just an everyday occurrence watching this happen. I love horror fans.
I started laughing. I was like, oh, glad I'm watching a movie alone in a theater and I'm the one sitting there going like
nice. Yep.
But my second favorite part of the whole thing was where he pushed her off and she didn't go all the way down. No. She just like slid.
I laughed so hard because you thought it would be this violent, like she's just gonna fly off, and then it's like
because they don't matter. They don't matter in the film. They don't matter as people. They don't matter as lines. They don't matter as kills. They're just corpses.
She just stops halfway on the cliff, and it's just silent for a long time. Just the shot of this like fucked up body on the cliff, just like okay.
And it's like you look at it, he's like, oh, should I like go down there and push it the rest of the way? No, I'm good.
Not take the effort. It's not worth it.
All right.
So then
on to the next one.
He walks again. More walking. I forget like what after this is this.
He goes back to the cabin.
The cabin.
It's the cabin. Yeah. Okay.
And
because he thinks that one dude still has a necklace in his pocket.
That's right. And is that when he runs into Troy? I just remember that.
Well, they're
Aaron
all
and
there
Troy in the car,
and they're being like, "He's not Stoner dude's not back yet. We gotta go find him."
Right.
And not even realizing that, like, well, so are the other two. Your people aren't coming back. We're gonna go. Screw that guy. I don't give a shit. Well, then we're gonna go. Me and like the guy I'm secretly in love with, who's secretly in love with me. All right, have a good time fucking my girlfriend or something.
And then the guys bicker, and then like I don't know why he's like, I'm gonna throw your car keys because I'm a character in a slasher movie making horrible decisions.
No, I think that's like abusive boyfriend behavior.
Yeah,
that was super abusive.
That was the two.
Yeah, but he's just that's him. He's abusive. No, I think it was just a friend group.
Okay.
Well, no, because then his dad would have died too, and it would have been like a whole thing.
You're right,
so like, I think it was just like. That literally is like stereotype abusive boyfriend of like, what are you gonna do? I threw your keys. And I know that's happened in other movies too, but like that's what that guy was giving. We needed to hate him just as much as we hated like number one motherfucker.
Yeah.
I loved that moment though, where Johnny like he takes off his mask and you see him from. I mean, technically that would be it was the audience point of view, and you see him without. That's why I thought he was so cute.
He's playing with his little car.
Because he's like. His eyebrows go up and his eyes are all like they're just white, and he's playing with the car and he's so happy. And then I side with Johnny. He just wants his necklace. He just wanted his mom's necklace.
Just like, don't steal a dude's shit.
Yeah.
Give him back his damn.
And that's what I love when he like he puts the mask back on and then he's like angry Johnny. And then like all of a sudden he speeds his walk. He like busts the car and puts on the horn. And I loved that because I'm like, oh, he's not fucking around now. He's not messing around. And
it was really deliberate though with him. Like he did that. He started walking around the back of the house to make sure. And I love the one guy in the window just being like, what the ever-loving?
He noticed him. He's like,
what is that?
Yep.
And then the other guy, I'ma get you because I'm a big, strong bro man. And then just being like,
nope, no, you're not, in the leg or whatever it was.
Well, he tried to get him in the head and he fought him back. And there was and they shot him. He goes down for like the one.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit. And they never do the double tap. Horror movie number 1. Gotta do a double tap.
Yep.
And then they go and the two guys, I don't know what, like, is he like the meek, like the shitty guy always has his own shitty sidekick? Is that what that guy was supposed to be?
They don't have personality.
Yeah, there's like, but actually that's the rock kill, right?
Yep. Well, no, first they start going off and he starts taking him because of the head. And then Johnny gets up and picks up his hatchet and it's just like,
yep. And it hits Aaron. It was Aaron, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but names
aren't important.
Another off-screen kill because that guy was super that guy was even a lesser nothing.
I couldn't even tell you what he looks like now.
He had dark hair.
He's a guy.
Blue shirt. He's a man.
Blue shirt guy. Oh, who like ripped his shirt to tie the thing instead of just taking his shirt off to tie it. But he made like a whole thing.
The rip was
and it was like barely
small. It was like a sliver.
And it's funny because he tried to do it twice.
Yeah.
But at least he knew to tie the leg.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the back of the head, and then as they're walking, and the shitty friend, like the douche bro, doesn't even like notice that his friend's dead. Yeah. He's just like, "Why aren't you helping me anymore?"
Trying to crawl away. He's like, "Help!"
But I did like the pan over of when you get like above Johnny looking down, and it's the guys like got the hatchet in the head. So I was like, "Cool, another kill."
Right.
But yeah, and then of course
you clearly see that big ass rock right there. And you know what's going to happen next. And you think, oh, maybe he's going to hit him a couple times. Nope. Just.
I think for my theater, that was the last time the audience had a reaction to a kill.
Oh, really?
I really liked that kill.
Really? That was the last time.
Yeah. That was a cool one. That was like, okay.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
It was visceral. It was very visceral. Yep. Yeah, I thought it was good.
It was like watermelon full of blood.
Yep. Yeah. Which, like, I mean, I've done it.
I love it.
It works.
I used
simple, quick, efficient. The final girl comes back with the dude who they're secretly in love with, and they see everything, and it's Johnny comes out and throws the axe, and she dodges just in the nick of time.
Well, I like that she's just laying there.
Yeah, what was she doing?
Apparently she was staring at blood because I was like, what are you?
I didn't know what is
happening?
She was just like this.
But then she's like, I think it's blood. And I was like, oh, she's like freaking out instead of going to be like, oh my God, are my friends okay? And going back into the house or like what you would think a normal person would do is see blood. She decides to have like an existential crisis over the blood.
Yeah.
And then just so that, so the necklace could be dangling.
Yes.
So they drive away and then Johnny walks a lot because it changes from day to night. And he's back.
Is that when we got our sunset?
The sunset, the beautiful serene sunset.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
With the orchard, or the flowers, or something.
That was a really pretty moment.
He walked through some very beautiful.
He had a good day.
Yeah,
a good day for Johnny.
If Johnny only got to live for one day, Johnny picked a great day.
If we all could just walk through scenery like that, I think we'd all be very peaceful.
With a head in our hands.
With a head in our hands. Yeah, he ends up back at the ranger station. They're there talking to the ranger, and clearly the ranger knows him because he turns around and he has the whole Sally Hardesty moment where he's like, "Remember me?"
No, I like when he yells at the kids like, "Why'd you grave rob? You freaking idiots!"
Oh, I would have been so pissed. I'd be like, "There's no way to stop him! Like the necklace.
That's the only thing keeping him in the ground is this necklace that you idiots stole. You deserve to be killed. We're all gonna be killed."
And didn't they say like, "Oh, if we give it back," and he's like, "That won't stop him."
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up at the station. And then she says, "Oh, he's here." Like, just very obvious dialogue. And yeah, just the point. He shoots him, he goes down, and he says, "Bullets only slow him down." And of course, naturally, what's the next step? Stand right at the edge of the body, as you do, within grabbing distance. Because, you know, if you want to make sure someone's dead.
Well, the guy sucks so bad. He's like, put some chains on him. Help me.
Oh, I know. And I love it. Yeah, he's slowly, like, walking closer and closer as he's saying, like, we need to bind him. We need to... And, like his feet are right there next to his hands. And, of course, when he goes to shoot him, Johnny takes the gun and, you know.
Oh, that guy sucks so bad. It's like when my husband sees a spider and he's like, no, you get it. That was that guy. Like,
yeah, that was that guy.
I can't. It's so gross.
I can't put the chains on him.
Like,
okay, I'm going to hand you the gun. Yeah, because the guy that can't put chains on is definitely the one they hand the gun to.
Right?
Logical.
Noah.
All good choices.
Yeah. But also, or just ask, did you ask the girl to put the chains on? Why couldn't she have put the chains on?
Yeah.
That was your next option is hand away the gun. Like, nah, bro. So, unfortunately, I kind of was like, sorry, Ranger. You made you in the video game, you had two choices. Who do you want to hand the gun to? And you made the wrong choice. So, in this choose your own adventure book, you're going to go. And that was next.
That death was a very mean-spirited death.
That's the one that really stood out to me. The only talking point I really had about it, but it reminded me of Wolf Creek, the head on the stick thing. The way that he severed the spine, because what did he do? He just like grabbed the spine, and he was completely paralyzed. That death stuck with me a lot. I know because I was talking to other people and I was listening, and they're like, it was boring. They could have done so much more. But to me, the elongation of that death was like, ooh, you feel that dread because you know what's coming.
Well, and it's a fucking one shot. Like, it's like totally what's the word I'm looking for? Still, like on sticks.
Yeah.
The camera does not move.
Right.
It's very visceral.
I thinking about it now still messes me up because he's paralyzed. You know he's alive. You see Johnny walk away and you think that's it. Like he just kind of left him to be paralyzed. All of a sudden you hear this loud noise. Johnny comes back, brings him in, and you see this like wood splitting machine. And this whole time, this poor guy's paralyzed, so he's looking. He can't do anything. He can't scream, and he's laying there. And I love how, like, Johnny, like, tests it with the log. And it's almost like he's like,
will it do the job?
Will it do it? And then he sees that it cuts. He's like, okay, will it do it on skin? So he just takes the arm. And just like,
yeah, it was mean. It was mean.
You just know it's coming. And it got to me. It really got to me.
I hated it.
Wow.
Hated it. Okay, so I liked the back breaking. I loved the drag. I he had to do a little loop. I thought the weight of the bodies was so well done. It looked, because sometimes when they do fake bodies, they look like you're carrying around a cotton sack. This looked like you're carrying around a corpse. Love that. The log splitting machine happened. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're getting some Terrifier level, taint to tip slap. Like that's what I thought I was getting. I was like, okay, taint to tip, let's go. I was ready.
You absolutely think that. Mm-hmm.
And then they put the hand up there, and it looked like a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw like the way that the shirt was doing. Like it kind of gave me haunted house. I got a little sad. I was like, oh. At that point, it was just disappointing. I loved when he put the body on the block, it looked like it was still the guy because it blinked. Like that was great. And then I just thought for all the buildup, I didn't see the payoff. It did not, and it didn't play in the theater. That's why I said
really?
the last kill in my theater that I saw, the last kill that got any noise whatsoever was the boulder, because after that the theater just was pretty silent.
Interesting.
And I looked, like there were people in the row with me and I was looking. I just don't think it, as soon as they started with that, and as much as you're like, oh, he's testing it, like thinking back, I was like, oh, that's a cute way to think about it if you're trying to think that he's like childlike. But for me, it felt like they were trying to play that the audience, like, look at what this is.
It's like
it's
a
not
misdirect.
Just a thing. No, not a misdirect. To be like, this thing is used for wood, so it totally belongs here, and it's not just some random thing we're using to kill people. It did not work for me. The whole thing didn't work for me.
Interesting. Okay.
I kind of felt like it was like if a slasher did a YouTube tutorial of how, like, because you know how sometimes like there's movies and they have like you walk in and there's like this big kill of like we see the gore, the aftermath, but we didn't see how it was done.
Yeah.
And this is like
That's funny.
how to slaughter a human. Yeah.
That's really funny. I mean, obviously that's what I thought, because when I saw that I thought, oh, he's gonna dissect it. He's gonna split him in two. But I kind
Taint to tip.
He's gonna taint to tip.
Taint to tip. Love it good.
I don't know. I kind of like that it didn't go that way because I just like thought about the perspective of the dude because he all of a sudden he puts his head there and you just see his eyes and it's so slow and you know what's coming and it was so cruel and it was like, oh, it wasn't a one shot. He just had to like go like this to get the head out and you see him close his eyes before he does it. It's like, what can he do? He can't even scream. Like just to like hear that or just to see that and like no, you can't react, but you could. Oh, I don't know. It just yeah. That was an interesting one.
And then they go back to the camp, right? The girl and her boyfriend take off and they head back towards their camp because they're like it's at the point of a normal slasher where they're like plotting on how they're gonna take out the big bad.
Oh yeah, they have like a gas.
Oh my god, I love when he's just like standing there listening to them.
Yeah,
like
plot very loudly.
Yeah, but
too
it's like,
loudly.
It's. I mean, imagine from like the point of view of a killer, and you just hear like, these people like how they're gonna get away from you.
Was that when they were whispering?
Yeah,
but not whispering.
Oh yeah, and then and then
whispering,
like, and then she says, "He sees us." She's like clearly like so loud. He sees us. He's over there. He sees us right here. Okay, I'm gonna go distract him.
Yeah, but okay, the same dude that couldn't put chains on a down body is now gonna be the bait and be the big old savior. I don't buy it.
Was he the bait?
I love when he's just like,
okay, yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm right, and he does it with nowhere to go because he's in front of a tree.
But what is he gonna do? Like all of a sudden he's like, I'm here, motherfucker. And then he's done.
Worst bait ever. His kill was fun. Like I was like, good.
That got a giant cheer.
Oh yeah, and you weren't expecting him to hit him like.
Oh my god!
Rage room style.
I want to count how many times he hits it.
And then they did thwack ASMR.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's so many, and then she's just standing there, and all of a sudden, then it hits her like,
I should run.
Fuck this. I'm gonna leave the necklace. I'm gonna peace.
Her staring at him at first, I was like, oh, she's into it. I was like, oh, she's kind of like, oh my god, I feel that rage and that like I understand.
I should have done it to this guy years ago.
Yeah, I feel this. God. I feel this in my soul. I know your pain. I can fix you. I can fix. That's where I thought that was gonna go next until she was like. Okay, never mind.
I thought she was gonna pull a whole Jason moment in the remake with the necklace.
Homer Simpson when he's like backs into the bush. She's just like, I'm out.
How did she know to take the necklace off though? How did she even know that that's what started this?
I think the ranger said.
Yeah, the ranger said, "Where did you get that?"
Oh, okay, so she's just like, I'm good.
And I love that. Like she didn't try to like test it and be like, "I'm brave. Take it from me."
She's like, "This has been fun.
Peace.
I'm out.
And then she loses her way and then goes crazy because she just hears the chopping in her brain.
And she just keeps going in circles and coming back and he's still whacking this guy's head. Like his head is just like fucking pudding at this point.
I thought maybe that she was just like so crazed that she couldn't get it out of her head no matter how far she was going.
It's subjective, I think. Yeah.
It was, but
like she just keeps hearing it in her brain.
I really like that flip. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the flip of we're focusing on Johnny to we're focusing on her.
Yeah. And then at the end, because at the movies, she always says she finds the car and they either drive away or they try to and the killer gets it before and it's that open to interpretation ending.
It really built a lot of tension in this part of the movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're on edge because you don't know where he is.
And you're like, go bitch, go.
Yeah.
So much.
And for me, it was until she had a big old stick in her foot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was like, sorry,
it was
we're gonna have to cut it cock size, but like
we ain't cutting shit for the podcast.
A cock size.
It was a tiny. It was a little.
It was a big stick.
It was a big stick.
Okay, so it's like a silver, like bigger than it was like a commemorative coin.
It was a girthy stick.
It was. I don't that word.
It was way too big for her to just be like. Limp. Like that thing was in there. I was like, what did you do? I am a clumsy person, as we all will see. And I'm sitting there, she had just as bad as limp as I do right now with my broken foot in a boot, as she did with a big old, she should have just been drained.
I would have, that.
You are just going to be hemorrhaging blood from your, like, it's lower than your heart. Like, literally, you are just going to be hemorrhaging blood.
When the plot called for it, she started to in the car.
She did in the car. She had a little bit of blood loss, but I was like, nah, girl, you are wrecked. Like I think it could have gone with a smaller cut. They did want the effect, and it was gross. It was a good gross like stick in there, pulling that out. That was gross. But I was like, oh no, she's finished. Yeah, she's done.
Yeah, and like it went on for a long time. It felt like a 20-minute ending.
Yeah. But you're on edge kind of the whole time too.
You're looking for him.
And then like when she gets to this car and she's with this woman and like it's like this like long talk in the car, I'm like, okay, is this woman in on it? Is she gonna like turn her back into Johnny? Right. And like where is this headed?
Is this would you choose the undead man or the bear?
Is she like a Pamela Voorhees kind of thing? But then you think, no, that would be way too much for this kind of movie. So
she was too young to be.
Yeah.
But
that kind of thing.
It was it was like this whole story about this animal, and I think it goes back to like it's the bear's violent nature, it's Johnny's violent nature, and
she's the sage old woman who's
telling the story. And it's just, but it's like a very tense scene because you're just like, where the fuck is this going? Like,
where's Johnny?
Yeah, exactly.
Any minute, because that's
like,
how it goes.
Yeah, like when they pull the car over, finally,
she's like, I gotta stop the blood. I gotta stop the blood.
And you're just like, oh no, what's happening? Is this when she turns?
And you're looking for him, and you're
and she's just staring off into the serene, quiet wilderness.
Me personally, I love that ending. Because then you just see the can and the necklace is gone, and literally that's all he wanted. That's literally all he wanted, and he got it.
His freaking necklace back.
He didn't come back for her, or maybe he did. Who knows?
No, she hurt her damn self in the woods, but Johnny got what he wanted. And it's not often with a new horror movie that I say I love the ending, but I actually really like the ending.
That was fun.
Like with her, like staring out, she's always gonna be wondering. Like she's like,
where is he?
Where is he? And he just wanted his damn necklace, okay? He wanted his mom's necklace.
Don't steal shit from a grave.
No.
Yeah. Is it your old necklace sitting on there? Definitely don't steal gifts that you're going to give to your significant other. Yeah. And most likely lie about where you got it. Be like, I bought this at an antique shop in the village and I got it for you. No, like that guy probably was like, this was my grandmother's necklace. No, it was dead Johnny's mom's necklace. Dead Johnny's dead mom's necklace.
Dead Johnny Dead's mom's necklace. That's your new tongue twister right there.
Dead Johnny's dead mom.
But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was fun. And now that we've talked about it, and it makes me feel better to know that I think the humor was intentional and it wasn't just me in my head. I think I like it a little more because of that. So I like the take. I really do. It's not for everybody, that's for sure.
No, it's definitely a subjective movie. It's definitely going to be polarizing. And again, I think it's one of those movies, maybe it's going to find its audience when you can watch it at home when you're doing other stuff at the same time.
Right.
It's a movie, it's an atmosphere movie.
Yeah.
But like, can I have the 8-hour YouTube cut of Johnny Walks?
Johnny Walks.
Johnny Walks. Would love that. The footage they shot was like nature documentary level. It was really beautiful.
Pretty. I loved it.
Yeah. The cinematography on this is wonderful. It was very serene. I would have hated if there was music. I love the choice of the crunching of the leaves and the sticks and the birds and everything. Because even like it even felt like the animals were like, no, Johnny's just doing his thing.
Yep.
This is just Johnny's living his life. We're not gonna get silent and weird.
Just Johnny do Johnny.
Yeah. Johnny's part of us now.
How tempted are you to say Johnny didn't know? Johnny doesn't know.
Johnny doesn't know.
Johnny doesn't know what's out there.
What's her name? I can make a whole parody song off this shit right now. What is her name? I lost it.
Oh, where is it?
Oh, you back on the back.
Chris.
And stuff. Chris is her name?
I think so. Know that.
Oh no, it'd be like Johnny doesn't know that Aaron and me stole his dead mom's necklace.
Oh my God, Johnny!
I gave it to my girl, but she doesn't know that I got it from a grave. Yeah, Johnny doesn't know.
Johnny doesn't know. For copyright reasons, we cannot play the song, but we can sing it for you.
No, it's under parody. It covers.
I think that it should be recorded and played on all of his walk montages.
Oh, hey, Euro Trip is actually coming to streaming for June 2024. Really? Yeah. So if
Why do you know this?
Why don't you know this? It is the number one non-real band song in a movie. If you ask people, that is up there. There's a couple good ones, but for me, if you ask like what's the number one song from a band that's like not a real band, it's from a movie. For me, it's Johnny Doesn't Know.
That's so good. I love that.
There's a couple good ones like the not Pussycat Dolls, sorry.
That's a
Josie and the Pussycats.
Josie and the Pussycats had some good ones.
There's
and
so many good ones. I like from Freaky Friday, Lindsay Lohan's band.
I gotta go. I mean, you guys are gonna roll your eyes at this, but I gotta go Green Room with the Ain't Rights.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a good one too. And people say like Low Shoulder, and I was like, I actually did not like this.
I love that song. I fucking play it all the time in my car.
What about Inside of You? Inside of You.
There's some bangers though. We'll make a playlist of like non-movie.
We'll put it on the Patreon.
Put it on the Discord.
We'll sing it for you.
Oh,
including
God.
Johnny Doesn't Know.
Yeah,
the K version.
Yeah, okay. I'll write a better one that I'm gonna not.
The K version. Oh man,
it's gonna involve more murder.
In a Violent Nature, there's get it in a violent nature.
Ooh.
Is that intentional? Why do I always get things?
I did. Yeah. After I was like,
is there anyone else out there who thought Johnny was cute? Did you think he was cute, adorable? Did you side with him? Am I the only one? Please tell me I'm not the only weirdo on the planet. Please.
Well, that's our episode on In Violent Nature.
Okay. So opening weekend. 2.1 million in the box office. So IFC's second biggest release ever. Late Night with the Devil is what beat them.
They're on a roll.
For an unrated movie, too. Unrated movie to get that. That's amazing.
Good on them.
I mean, it's no 666 on a Sunday, but like it is a really good opening weekend.
Yep.
And that's doing great for independent horror because you're also comparing it to other movies that have opened this weekend that like flopped.
Yeah.
And
everything flopped this weekend. Literally, Dune is still number one in the box office, and it's been 2 months?
What
or
else
something like that
this weekend?
Garfield.
Garfield,
If Furiosa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
wow.
It's been a rough week for the movie theaters.
Yeah, and summer's supposed to be where the blockbusters come from, but apparently independent is taking that, which summer's going to be where the slashers are.
But it is. But, it's the thing. It's like maybe it's time for movie companies to think about investing in, instead of one giant $100 million movie, $10 million movies. It's a safer bet. You're going to get your money back, and you're giving a lot more opportunities to a lot more creatives.
Yeah. It's I'm really excited to see what the next movie that Shudder is going to bring, that Shudder IFC, that these independent films, like what big premiere are we going to get? Like one of the reasons I love Shudder is because it's movies you couldn't see in theaters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now we're getting these for people who don't have that service, that they can go see a really good independent movie. And I'm really hoping that this brings way more independent movies to the market, and gives people like a real chance.
Well, and I think, Neon has done great this season as well. Mm-hmm. They had Immaculate. And next, I think they've got Long Legs, which I think is going to kill. So I think it's a good time for indie horror.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it. So that is our very first movie of the Summer of Slashers series, the Wet Hot Slasher Summer.
The Wet Hot Slasher Summer.
Will Paul Rudd show up?
Please. You taste like a burger. I don't like you anymore.
But yeah, leave in the comments what you think we will be covering next, what your guesses are, or what we should be covering, because
there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
So many choices, but it's not gonna be your classic slashers. It's gonna be the slashers that inspire. No, I definitely haven't murdered anyone.
No, I think it's gonna be innovative slashers. It's gonna be slashers that change up the genre in some way. And if you have ones that you recommend we watch, let us know.
Yay! If you like what you hear, you can subscribe, click on the bell on YouTube. If you're listening to this, you can subscribe where you get your podcasts. We are on all of the podcast platforms. Yeah.
And for bonus content, check out our Patreon.
Yay! We have a Patreon. It's gonna be good stuff. Until next time, sweet screams, everybody.
And whatever you do,
don't fall asleep first.